when we use smart tech, we think that now I resigned from a university, but in fact keep a good relations with many universities. But I moved to a hospital, and this hospital carry a wonderful reputation on international collaboration. Especially, they can design the IT system for people in North Africa. So I think that that region is far behind to the status of your nation, let alone their healthcare system. But I feel that once they can develop the most advanced technology in such a very not well developed area, and for the people in need. So we think that it's also good if we can take the advantage to benefit our own people. So I went there 1 year ago and begin to lay out a new landscape about how we think about the healthcare system. And then here is the preliminary solution that I would like to share with you. First, we use a mobile device and put it into a small village area, and also which is a fixed one, and also we use a mobile one. So in that sense, we wanted to provide the service everywhere for community health in that region. So here is the solution that I will show you. And secondly, we think that the healthcare professional is a really capable intellectual in any country. So in that sense, we help them with the IT support, develop, establish leadership in big data and precision medicine in a way that we help them build up patient follow-up and monitoring system by very simple electronic medical record for community usage. And then once you can follow the patient for long term, and then you will know the efficiency and the sufficiency of their medication, and in what way their medicine can interact with their lifestyle and how to change their lifestyle. And then later on, the genomic sequence will be much cheaper, down to probably just $100 for the whole genome sequence for each person. So with the kind of daily data, with the interaction between the medicine and the behavior, individual behavior, if we have the chance to add the environmental factor and also the genomic data, and then that will be a method for precision medicine inquiry, even for the area which is not much rich or familiar with all kind of modern technology. But we can begin with somewhere at the very beginning. So, and we begin to think that the smart hospital with Internet of Things is very important. Internet of Things means that we will help you to connect all your medical devices together, like your blood pressure meter, etc., and also show your data on your smartphone. Because nowadays in Southeast Asia, you are much similar in Taiwan that almost most people have smartphone. So in that sense, we think that with the kind of integrated data, this is very important for patient realize their own condition that will facilitate a kind of shared decision making with the patient. And also, with the kind of facility within the community, they are not just benefit the residents within the community. The tourists will take advantage out of it because they will get a most urgent report to the urgent care team, even to the police station once they are in need. So this kind of facility will ensure the tourist safety with a medical tourism competence in the sense that people may take a vacation and also enjoy the low price of health check or certain kind of long-term care, short-term stay in a beautiful part of Taiwan. So this is the idea that we think that might be benefit for people that can share the experience across the national boundary if there are supportive systems out there. And also, we think that there are a lot of collective merit between Taiwan and all Southeast Asia countries. We just recently realized that I think that it's a long time ago, we already know that there are Dutch experience in our history, like the Indonesian friends. And also, we share a kind of Chinese culture with mainland since a long time ago. So in that sense, how we communicate with our common cultural heritage, I think which is also another important experience for us to facilitate the mutual learning in the time period. And also, this kind of IT system definitely will help you share not just the clinical data, but also all local cultural heritage that inherit in the large-scale historical change. So I think that this is a past year that we run the 2 workshops with Professor Hu, and then through years of workshop, we begin to think about nowadays almost all medical professionals in every country, they are facing the challenge of national health insurance system and the commercialization of health care and the effort to cultivate medical professionalism. Those fall leave much to be desired because all have to be constrained by market interest or by strong state regulations. So in that sense, we think that nowadays we have a global issue which is increasing the dependence on the market force in terms of professionalism. And also we are rising costs from the technological innovation, and there are management override the physician's autonomy and their traditional commitment to the primacy of the patient's interests. Those are global trends. And then there are local issues in Taiwan, like the national health insurance. It's a peculiar mix of governmental interventionism and market ideology. And the patient lack of risk-share awareness and the physician's collective integrity yet to be established. And later on, we know that many countries in Southeast Asia have established various kind of national health insurance system. And then there will be dilemma that we have to face collectively, we share in common. So we advocate bioethics reflection on professionalism for achieving transcultural justice and for using smart health technology in an attempt to replace the market economy with a civil economy in healthcare arena. Why so? Why we focus upon medicine? Because the auto medicine, according to us Clement, is all about how we may endure together in various clinical and social contexts. And according to Professor Byron Goods, medical humanitarianism is a rapidly changing field which actively engages in debate regarding the ethics of intervention, program effectiveness, and the relevance of social science research to the field. So, in that sense, we think that nowadays, in Southeast Asia, then later on in Europe and in the United States as well, we are suffering from the economic crisis. Then what's the meaning? We should take a lesson from that. Overdevelopment and overdependence on market economy or ideology is risky. And secondly, definitely, in a sense of civilization process, in a sense of technology development, we definitely are pursue our own way for the freedom, for individual autonomy. But could we count on in what way we may use the technology or most recent genomic medicine as a way to liberate our constraint from disease and illness and to ensure our quality of life? Or we become over-consumed in the process of pursuit modernization. That will be a risky. So, the more important part is that now we are at the stage of the model production changing, in the sense that in the past, we think that the oil might be the most important after industrial revolution. Now we all know nowadays is the fourth industrial revolution, somebody call that. But the more important part is that the most important crucial material for the future probably is not oil, but it's your gene, right? Because for oil, you just change the landscape. For gene, you are playing like a dog, right? So in that sense, facing the kind of challenge, I think that there are a lot of intellectuals, they are thinking about how we can find our way out. I am not going through the detail, but the more important is that once people go beyond the citizen to citizen and begin to establish the professional and the client relationship, or doctor-patient, nurses-patient, or social worker-patient, such a kind of relationship, definitely it's go beyond a kind of social contract, which we call medical contract, right, or health service contract. In what way we can establish reliable health service contract? First, everyone as a health provider must inform the other citizen who might be your patient, or it might be the person who receives your services. You must inform them what you can do for them, which is medical indication, which is nursing indication, which is service indication, that we have to figure it out at the very beginning, based upon the collective wisdom, and that will be the content of our informed consent, of our inform. After we inform, we have to see patient's choice as a preference, in the sense that if they choose something beyond what we can offer, but they still stay in front of us, or in our clinic, or in our nursing home, how can we deal with them? They already make their own choice. So, Professor Abel Johnson say that once they still keep their eyes on you, you don't take what they say, it's their choice. Choice is a legal term. You have to think that they just express their preference. If it is their preference, which means that will be your responsibility to help them make the right decision within the area that you can offer. Afterwards, so that is the state of art that you can get their consent. So the patient's preference also highlights autonomy. The autonomy is a lot of is count on your support and help. Afterward, once you establish the health service contract, then you have to work on a common goal between you and your patient. What's the common goal? The quality of life of the patient, right? And so far, that's all the relation between one individual and the other individual, right? Between you, caregiver, care provider, and your patient and the recipient, one-to-one. So, but people are not live alone in a society. People are living in a very complicated relation with other people, with the national health insurance, with different kinds of health status, and also living with the social determinants of the disease and the illness. So in that sense, they are contextual feature or intervene into a pure caregiver and the recipient relations, right? So in that sense, the last bioethics principle is that under different conditions, you have to treat all patients fairly, right? Justice will be the last part based upon the contextual feature. Okay, afterward, we think that Taiwan is a country which is, according to Professor Sonato, this nation is based upon Taoism. And definitely mixed with Confucianism and Buddhism, etc. But the doctrine of mean is very important. So we tend not to go to extreme. We tend to find a balanced way, in what sense, between institutional care and the community care. So we design a way that the institution should serve as a hub to facilitate the services within the community. Institutions should support the community services rather than they are struggle to each other. So this is the way we think that how health delivery system should be built. And also, we think that the healthcare system should base upon the idea humans are more relational, gift-exchanging animals who are naturally disposed to the cooperate for mutual benefit. So in that sense, when we are developing long-term care or when we are developing kind of community hospice care, what does that mean? You know, those people suffer from disease and illness, they will get experience out of it, including their families. Once they have the experience, I think that I pretty much endorse the experience from Thailand, because in a sense that with a kind of community-driven mental health delivery system for very severe but stable schizophrenia patients in Thailand who give them medication in community. Not physician, not nurses, not even social workers, but who? The volunteer, who got the highest certified status. They can do this. They can fulfill the job. So I see that this is a wonderful example that people exchange their experience, and they do the tech shift from physician to nurses, from nurses to psychiatrist, social worker, other health, mental health professional, and then down to the senior community volunteer with a very good certificate system. So in that sense, I also learned from Yogyakarta. I think that in Gajah Mada University, they did a wonderful job. As I know, the volcano Merapi eruption, but 2 weeks later, I think that they cleaned the whole city, right? With the community service, which is an amazing job. We never thought about that, right? So in that sense, those are the way how people exchange their gift and for mutual benefit. But even, don't forget, a lot of international aid is based upon the ideology, which is very similar to the one modern economy assures that human beings are fundamentally self-interest. Then, health arena becomes something profitable. Then I think that will be problem, because health arena should be the arena that everybody could contribute a part and earn some money and get some benefit back, right? So in that sense, it's not a service industry. All health professionals just serve as a teacher for the general public. You should take the consultation fee rather than service fee, right? Let the service fee shared by the lay person. I think that will be much better than you do it, right? You just demonstrate how to do it. So remember, a lot of international aid is also based upon a kind of self-interest ideology. So in that sense, they cannot see the real function of the person in need. They just want to give. To give and to take is the same thing, but to share is totally different ideology. So which is really important that before we go into smart technology and the biology issue, we have to think in what way we can share. So in terms of methodology, we have adapted a service-oriented participatory action as a methodology for institution-based community empowerment personnel training that adopt technological innovation to developing countries as well to remote tribal areas. So I think that I remind you, nowadays with the rise of medical humanity, we change a very important notion related to knowledge. In the past, we believe knowledge is power. Now it's separate. What is knowledge? Knowledge is sharing, including the experience from the patient, not just what we read in textbook, right? And what management staff, professional staff have to follow it, and then they provide training, and also they provide ethical consultation if there is conflict. And why there is an ethical consultation? What will be the foundation for the ethical consultation? I see that first, not everything you have to send it to the ethics committee. Why? Because each department have their power, have their capacity, resolve their own issue, most of their own issue. So in that sense, in what way we run our clinical department? Through total quality management, we allow the clinical department to have the financial and the personnel power to manage their function for the people in need, right? And also, it's very important to look at the components, the delegates within the clinical ethics committee. So the clinical ethics committee is a way to facilitate the professional autonomy for each department, right? And then we can look at the member of clinical ethics committee. Who are they? Nowadays, including social scientists, bioethics, and the more important, community leaders. So in that sense, if those people decide what is the content of the medical ethics, what does that mean? Medical ethics is not owned by professional society. Professional society begin to invite the whole society. Larger interdisciplinary delegates, including the patients, representatives, to share the decision, to set up the content, set up the expectation for our clinical ethics, right? So I think that will be the very important part. So in that sense, we can think about the community can be seen as a patient group, right? So in all hospitals, definitely each clinical department, the patient belong to different clinical department can see as a community, right? Or several community within or in charge by the clinical department, right? And then once we got the electronic medical record, so we can aggregate this kind of wisdom together, which is a community data in that sense, right? So should we share with the patient because those are their own data. So this data should not be owned by clinical staff. They should collectively own share with the patient. Once they have the data within the hospital, then we perceive this patient group as a community. They are other hospitals have the same department, like cardiovascular department, cancer department. Could they share data together? Then it will be a community at a county level, and it could be a country level. So, within an institution, and beyond institution, reach a county level, or go at the scale of the national level, you got to have a various kind of regulational framework to ensure the appropriate data sharing process, right? So, in that sense, this kind of metaphor can also refer to the community health data for the people living in a geographical community as well, right? Or in any kind of patients group in different places, right? So I think that how to have an institution let people know they can share in the sense of community and then refer to a real community, I think it will be a wonderful training and learning experience, and it will be the duty for all modern institutions with information technology in mind, right? And definitely this will be a bioethics issue, and definitely once we have to know that the data, individual data, sometimes won't make any sense or cannot go too far in terms of study. We need a collective data. But how to transform the individual data into a collective one and to facilitate the research? I think that once the data become aggregated data, I think that the issue of individual privacy might be listened to a certain degree, right? So in that sense, how to build on the boundary and make a distinction between the appropriate use of individual data and group data will be another issue that we have to keep in mind. And definitely, throughout the process, we don't want everybody manage their own data into the collective one. No, it's not the case. So we need an independent data management system or personnel that they don't know each in detail, but they can aggregate the data first. And then that will facilitate the knowledge sharing and data sharing and even the research process. So I think that this is very important. Since the 1990s, we have known the idea, what we call the evidence-based medicine. In a sense, why we use the term evidence-based medicine? Because nowadays in our library, they are all electronic file, right? It's very easy to do the literature mining, literature search in a more smart way, right? Rather than go to a library and read all book and the journal. No, it's not the case. We can do it on the computer now. So once it's very easy to get the literature, then in the past, we always practice based upon our own experiences. Under the condition that there are a bunch of literature ready to use and easy to use. So you have to look at it. If your practice suffers from any kind of your own bias, which will hurt your patient rather than help your patient. So this is the rise of the evidence-based medicine. The idea came in 1990s. But later, people feel that all this kind of wonderful randomized clinical trial happened in Western country or in big city or leading research institute. But for medicine, it's serving for people, it's serving for ordinary people in remote area, in developing country. The population is much higher than the target population for randomized clinical trial, right? So it's not sufficient. Just follow the literature, especially those are Western experience based. All we can see is a high elite Western experience based data, right? Even I see that for the middle class or low class in Western country, this data may not be applicable. So in that sense, in year of 2000, we come out of the idea of comparative effectiveness research, which means that we should have our data, our patient's data based upon electronic medical record. And then we can compare our data with literature. And then think about, is there any issue that we can clarify? Once we begin to compare the data, what we have at hand, and what shown in the literature, we will find the differences. And we will raise the research question regarding to the differences. So along the clinical side, we look at the data, and then we think about, well, there's a kind of question that we should address. Once we want to address the research question, how can we do? We think about we can use the clinical research and we can go back to the bench work. We can integrate them together and try to answer why there is a disparity between those kind of literature finding and data. Then the term translational medicine is related to the idea. And then once we have the data and we encourage patients know the data And those data based upon those patients' their own experiences. What will happen? Patient will have an idea about how to interpret the data. They will help you point out what will be a valuable research questions. Or even they can join you throughout the research process. So in year of 2010, here is patient-centered outcome research, which means that the patient can take a part in your research project from define the question, data collection, and the follow-up, and so on. So then I think that will be a very crucial foundation. Nowadays, the data flow will go beyond the medical context to the social context, right? So along the line, there are some leaders in translational research. They are sociologists. What they are going to translate? They are translating the public health issue and the clinical issue together, right? They don't have to be a physician, but they do a large-scale sense of translational research. So, in that sense, we are moving into a new horizon of knowledge management. So, then, I will explain to you why health technology matter. I think that the right-hand side, your right-hand side is in our tribal area. People at that time, they are foreign to any smart technology. And the left-hand side is in North Africa. Definitely, there is no such thing as technology before in Malawi. And then, once we help them establish an electronic medical record, and then those pictures are shown in Malawi that we can follow each patient all over the nation with the easy technology. Once we can follow the patient, then we can do the research, right? So this is the ideal model of clinical research. We establish the Pinocchio Hospital first established in Malawi, and then extended to other areas. And then, in addition to clinical data in electronic medical record, we also add some behavior or some eating style or some sexual habit, something like that, together to show the whole picture of how the social determinants of AIDS in that setting. And then we significantly reduce the AIDS infection in that country. And later on, we feel that there are a lot of, not just for epidemiological or clinical issues that we can figure it out. We can also think about bioethical research along the line, right? Then, what kind of intervention is culturally acceptable, and also help people maintain their own dignity once this is a highly stigmatized issue, right? So I think that those kind of research work is really important. And then later on, we find that with the rise of precision medicine, what do we find? I think that most of medicine, they can only be effective to 30 to 50% of patients, right? Are you scared? Don't worry, 80% of illness will recover by themselves, right? But it's still a big issue. So in that sense, a lot of people are eating something they don't need it, but suffer from some kind of side effect, right? So in what way, if we can search into the pharmaceutical dynamics, environmental issue, health behavior, I think that we can, with those kind of data integrate, we already know a lot of information, right? With a long-term follow-up, then we can guess that which patient or which kind of group or person they should use what kind of method or use different kind of medication. And then later on, if we affordable, if the genomic sequence fees become affordable, then we just add that data, and each country can have their own biobank. We don't have like a kind of huge money in UK to establish a huge biobank. We can have it begin with our institution, right? So in that sense, we begin to integrate with a hospital as a center, try to integrate the neighborhood community together and to look at it as a cloud for all. And this cloud, we think that the most important part, we try to separate the cloud into smaller one. The smaller cloud means that the cloud will ensure the autonomy of the people that share information together. So the smallest cloud we think, which was far, is the community cloud. So from community cloud to district cloud to the large area city or regional cloud, I think that we can separate the information together and allocate the responsibility and the capacity for each party based upon this shared cloud. The cloud also means the way we share the information together. So, and also we can see that once we establish a community cloud, the community can support the family. And then once they share with the family health data, they can also think a way to share their cultural heritage of family memory as well, and aggregate it into a kind of community culture gene. So the more important part is that we also help the community to form a delegate that can sign a contract with outside company. And then once you use the data here, then you have to feedback to the community, which is the idea of benefit sharing. So in that sense, the community share is not just their gene or their health data, right? They can also share their oral history. So this kind of data management and sharing platform is to help people exchange their gift with the flow by establishing partnership together. And then once, remember, this kind of community will become a kind of living lab, in the sense that the commercial company or factory, they can have their prototype and implement it in the community and get their feedback to reduce their waste in the production and to help the factory accurately fit into the need of their consumer, right? So in that sense, this is the idea of living lab that we establish in tribal area. So it's very important that the user is driven the kind of technology innovation. So in that sense, we think that with the idea of the medical humanities, that is that the main content that a community-oriented partnership building, we link into with the concept, we can help different clinical departments to build up their own partnership and reach out to the community and link into the other institutions, even across the national border, right? And then they can share at a large scale and know a big picture about what happened across the cultural boundary. So, in that sense, Now I want to show you what we did in Vietnam. And this is a 1 month project, but we do some preparation for 3 months. So we send our clinical team out there, and with the clinical team, there are some gap in terms of service quality and professional training out there. So once our clinical team work there, we offer service together. While we offer service together, we can compare the way we provide services for the physician in the similar specialty. The case is in cardiovascular center. So then, what happened? While we offer the joint clinic out there, we create an opportunity. Physicians share their skill with a physician over there. Nurses share their skill with nurses out there. Technicians share their skill over there. And then we reach a consensus in a kind of training process and a joint service process. We agree what will be the care quality that we should help our Vietnamese counterpart to pursue. And then once we know we define our goal, which is good quality of care, good quality of services, what else? Our Vietnamese partner have to figure it out. What will be the best management way under the local context, fit into their legal and the cultural and the social environment? What will be the best management strategy to maintain the quality, even under their health insurance system? Once they propose their idea, then we will do 2 things together. First, try to globalize the local wisdom, to bridge to harmonize the local wisdom with the international standard in terms of hospital management. And secondly, we send our IT team. Then they will work with the IT team in this hospital and help them build an IT infrastructure to ensure the good management and then to ensure the good quality of services can flow. So this is the most recent way that we establish a kind of, in a sense of work-based learning protocol. And we are thinking, we are very comfortable with that once we have the IT team, because we create all kinds of data out there. So we think that probably it will be a good foundation that we can establish a master or even later on PhD program with this kind of training framework or collaboration framework. Because once we are working there, the neighborhood hospital will send the specialty out to the hospital to learn as well. Then we can easily, with the IT support, we can easily disseminate the knowledge and provide consultation to other hospitals as well. So this is the most recent idea that we just find. So then, this is a flow chart about what is for biobank is about the public health data, and the case control study is more basic research, and then the clinical trial is what we familiar with the IRB application, and then once we find out any kind of product along the line, we may have a post-market monitoring research. And then with the kind of data flow, I think that we can go based upon our users' experience, we can go back to the various kind of research design and the data usage along the line. So we are thinking that in the process, we begin to build a hospital with a capable information system. Then we can begin to think about, because the neighborhood hospital also come to here and begin to build the similar infrastructure. How to integrate those data together will be very beneficial to the regional development of our partner out there in Concord province. So then their health bureau come to see us to think that based upon the clinical data, if we can add on something for public health services, then we can begin to help them establish a kind of information center in more or less preliminary form, but later on will be a very powerful one. But even based upon a very preliminary format, we can still share some data. Once the data begin to share, people will begin to sense about it and then know how to get used to it and eager to maximize the usage of it. Then there are added value and added momentum for data collection afterward. So I think that will be a kind of data information center that we try to facilitate. So I think that, so this is a framework for the integrated data center, but we think that we can pursue it step by step. So, but the very important is that we have to achieve the public acceptance at the first place, and there are different way of data releasing that I can leave the PowerPoint to you about the detail. So, but I think that the final goal is to help you legislate, have a good legislation along the line to ensure a kind of data safety and national security, and easy to share, most important. The purpose of data is to share. So some data is highly sensitive, some is low sensitive. So we have different kind of regulation, and this is a roadmap that can facilitate the clinical trial as well. So we think that this is kind of very important lesson. So, and we begin to help develop a more competent hospital management system. So you can see there are patients, this is for hemodialysis unit, and they can manage it and reduce the paperwork and use a computerized record system, and then easily to manage and to ensure the quality of care. So based upon the idea, we got a lot of feedback from our friends in Thailand. So, and we begin to build up several large-scale frontline projects with our partner in Thailand. So in that sense, we think that it's not just for Thailand. It's also think a way if we can develop smart technology and data sharing in more feasible and affordable way. A lot of international friends come to join us, want to find a best solution for the region. So, and we think that we begin to share this kind of community and local solution in Taiwan, and to impart in university and even in industrial pollution area, that we have some solution. But all solutions based upon what? All clinical work is based upon the reserve function of the patient, patient's healing power. what professionals should do is to empower the patient. And then what IT or hospital management staff should do, they should help health professionals to empower the patient, right? So this will be the idea that we think that a medical professional, differential medical professionals are essential for enacting bioethics guidelines and for applying new health technology in ways consistent with transcultural justice for ultimate purpose of developing a civil economy in the field of healthcare. So this is our idea, and thank you for come to support us in the workshop, and thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Duujian, for very comprehensive presentation regarding challenges of smart technology on clinical bioethics. Ladies and gentlemen, because of the time, we don't have time for question and answer, but I believe Professor Duujian still will be with us. So if you have a question, you can approach him after the next presentation. Once again, I would like to invite you to give a round of applause for Professor Duujian.